Hey everybody, welcome back. Doc May Diet Podcast. Dr. Brian May here, your host. Episode number 2. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 problems with the ketogenic diet. Well, first of all, what is the keto diet? So the keto diet is a way of eating that's designed to derive about 90%, up to 90% of your calories from fat alone. I know that sounds crazy. Fat's supposed to be bad for us. Fat's what's making us fat. Fat's what makes us sick, right? Not so much. So in this diet, fat is very high and carbs need to be kept under 50 grams a day. Where did the keto diet get its start? Well, some believe that its origins really started in its utility for kids with epilepsy. So they started putting these kids who were having seizures on this ketogenic diet, and they started responding very well. And the hypothesis for this, the mechanism we believe, is because when we're eating all this fat, our body breaks down our energy and our fat into ketone bodies. It's these ketones that puts us in this ketotic state of ketosis. So the reason they believe this worked is because our brain is comprised of mostly fat. So when our body is using fat for fuel, our brain likes that, and it actually has a healing, regenerative effect on the brain. And thus, this is why they believe the kids responded well to this diet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the top 5 reasons people fall off on this diet, the top 5 problems with this diet, and then we'll talk about a case for maybe trying this in your own life. Okay, so the first problem with this diet is that people completely throw out food quality. They don't care what the food is as long as it's a fat, it's not a carb. For example, they'll eat all the processed cheese and bacon they want. Now, don't get me wrong. I freaking love bacon. One of my favorite foods. I definitely do eat it a lot more when I'm doing keto, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's a damn health food. Okay. You can't eat it every meal, every day. It doesn't have that many good health qualities. It's filled with nitrates, which lead to cancer. Processed cheese has its own issues. So just because something is a fat and not a carb does not mean it's healthy. So you still have to eat high quality foods when you're doing keto. Problem number 2 is that people don't pay attention to the amount of food they're eating. Just because you're eating all fat doesn't mean you could eat 6,000 calories worth of fat and lose weight. Sounds crazy, right? Well, people fall into that trap, believe me. Third reason is that this diet is very restrictive. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to keep carbs under 50 grams a day. That's pretty low. Carbs are in everything, so it's really restrictive. So it brings about many social issues. You can't go to weddings, parties, events, plans. You can't relax because once you go over that 50 grams of carbs threshold, you break the ketosis and it kind of ruins the whole point of the diet. Reason number 4, piggybacking off of point number 3, is that once you go off this diet, people really tend to rebound and gain a lot of weight back. Why is that? Well, when you're on keto, your body's used to using fat for fuel. It usually takes about 2 weeks, anywhere up from 2 weeks to 2 months to adapt to using this fat as fuel, which is another issue. It takes a while for it to start working. Now, when we get off keto and we go back to eating our normal diets, which typical American diet is pretty high in carbs, our body's ability to break down carbs has been shut down. We've been eating fat this whole time. Now we're trying to use carbs again, and all the enzymes and digestive processes that our body is used to running have been shut down. And then we throw all these carbs on top of them, and then boom, creates a lot of inflammation, digestive issues, and weight rebound. Problem number 5 is that people think this diet is for life, which it definitely is not. Even the staunchest supporters of the keto diet, like Dave Asprey of bulletproof.com, creator of Bulletproof Coffee, he recommends going in and out of ketosis throughout the year, cyclically. You can't be in it too long. I could actually speak to that from personal experience. I did keto once for 6 months. Wasn't good. My thyroid shut down. Energy went down. Sleep went down. Mood, focus, everything went down. Your body does need a certain baseline level of carbs, typically. And if you go on this diet for too long, your hormones are going to get screwed up. Don't want to screw around with that. Okay. So those are the top 5 problems with keto. They're real. You need to address them. Okay. But if you can manage those, if you could look at them and work your way around it and do this responsibly, there's a case for doing keto. So first benefit of doing keto is your body's resting state of thermogenesis will increase. What does that mean? That means you're going to burn more calories at rest. Just sitting there, not even eating, not even doing an activity, your body will burn more calories because it has to use more energy to burn fat, okay? Because it's used to burning sugar, used to burning that stored glycogen, which is quick and easy. Fat takes a while to break down. It takes a while to make those ketone bodies, and that breakdown process burns calories and increases that thermogenesis, which I talked about. Reason number 2, the case for doing keto, is that you're going to have more energy and more focus for 2 reasons. First, as I mentioned earlier, the brain is comprised of mainly fat. So when we have fat as our fuel, our brain just kind of operates better. The second reason is we're no longer eating sugars and carbohydrates, so we're not riding that insulin roller coaster all day long. We have a more steady and sustained energy. Reason number 3 is that if we're doing this responsibly and eating high quality foods, we're not going to be eating sugars. We're not going to be eating processed carbs. So inflammation comes down, which is a huge goal for any diet. Reduce inflammation, lose weight, feel better. Kind of the motto here at Dr. May Diet Podcast. Reason number 4, you're going to actually lose some weight if we do this right. Okay. If we eat responsibly, we manage our carbs, we track, we don't eat whatever we want, we don't eat as much as we want, and we stay within a good calorie restriction, you're going to lose weight. Okay. The body eventually, like I mentioned, it does take 2 weeks to 2 months, depending on where you're starting, for the body to get into ketosis. But once we're there, our bodies start to break down our stored body fat for fuel instead of using that stored glycogen. So you will burn body fat. It's a good way to lose fat. But again, keto is a tool. Like any tool, like a hammer, you pick up a hammer, you use it for the job, and you put it back down when you're done with it. Okay. Keto is not meant to be done forever. Okay. So use it as a weight loss tool and then slowly start to reintroduce carbs. Okay. Now, reason number 5, keto is a good idea, is because we can create what's called metabolic flexibility. What does that mean? Metabolic flexibility is the state you're in when your body can use either fats or carbs effectively. As I mentioned earlier, if we're in keto for too long, we could only use fats, and then when we go back to eating carbs, we cause dysregulation. But if we cycle in and out, we use keto, and then we slowly add a little bit more carbs as we're coming out of keto, our body will adapt this ability to use either of them effectively. So what does that mean? That means no matter what we're eating, a protein-based diet, a carb-based diet or a fat-based diet, our body can actually adapt to it, use it efficiently, and that's just going to increase performance across the board. Okay, so that was a quick little rundown, quick little summary. Obviously, there's a lot more to it. I highly suggest doing your own research here. There's no shortage of keto research out there, but that's the basic what you need to know about it. Okay, so again, it's not for everybody. It's really strict. If you screw it up, there's some very big consequences. All right, so you got to do it smartly. You got to be smart about what you're eating. Again, just because it's a fat, it doesn't mean it's healthy. Okay. Thanks for listening, guys. Episode 2 in the books. Please subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on SoundCloud. And I'll see you next time.